Cargill. The name itself might sound unfamiliar, almost anonymous, despite its enormous presence in our daily lives. For most people, it's a name that rarely, if ever, comes up in conversation. You won't see it on the shelves of your local supermarket or in flashy advertisements on TV. Yet behind the scenes, this colossal corporation quietly shapes the way the world eats, trades, and even thinks about food. Its influence stretches across continents, connecting farmers, factories, and families in a vast, intricate web. It's a behemoth, a $165 billion giant operating in the shadows, orchestrating the movement of food and resources on a scale that's almost unimaginable. Most people have never heard of Cargill, but they should, because whether you realize it or not, Cargill is likely a part of your life, every single day. This is a company that touches the lives of billions, often without their knowledge. From the bread on your table to the oil in your frying pan, Cargill's reach is subtle but profound. Cargill's reach extends to every corner of the globe. Its network spans more than 70 countries, employing over 150,000 people, and facilitating the flow of food and commodities across oceans and borders. It's a multinational corporation with fingers in countless pies, literally and figuratively. From cocoa to corn, beef to biofuels, Cargill is involved in almost every aspect of the food industry. From the farms that grow our food, where seeds are sown and crops are harvested, Cargill is there, providing resources, buying produce, and shaping agricultural practices. To the supermarkets where we buy it, Cargill's presence is felt in the products we choose, the prices we pay, and the very availability of food on the shelves. This company is a silent partner in our meals, a hidden hand shaping what we eat, how it's produced, and how it gets to our plates. The sheer scale of Cargill's operations is staggering. Its factories and processing plants churn out ingredients that end up in thousands of products, many of which never bear its name. It's a company so large, so complex, that its true impact is difficult to grasp. Its decisions ripple through the global food system, affecting everything from supply chains to environmental policies. Cargill deals in everything from grain trading to meat processing, from fertilizer production to financial services. It's a powerhouse that helps set the price of food, influences farming methods, and even shapes international trade agreements. Its influence is pervasive, touching every link in the global food chain. Cargill is the unseen giant, quietly feeding the world one transaction at a time. Cargill is not your typical corporation. While many companies strive for public recognition and transparency, Cargill has always operated in the shadows, quietly amassing influence and power on a global scale. It's a private company, controlled by one of the wealthiest families in America. The Cargill and Macmillan families have built an empire that stretches across continents, yet they remain largely out of the public eye, preferring privacy over publicity. The Cargill and Macmillan families, descendants of the company's founder, maintain a tight grip on the business. Their legacy began in the late 1800s when William Wallace Cargill started a small grain storage business that would eventually become a global powerhouse. This private ownership structure shields Cargill from the scrutiny faced by publicly traded companies. Without the obligation to disclose financial details or answer to outside investors, Cargill can make decisions behind closed doors, away from the prying eyes of regulators and the media. Unlike companies beholden to shareholders, Cargill operates with a remarkable degree of autonomy. This freedom allows the company to pursue long-term strategies, take risks, and adapt quickly to changing markets, all while keeping its inner workings a closely guarded secret. It's accountable only to its family owners, a select few who benefit immensely from its vast profits. These families enjoy a lifestyle of extraordinary privilege, with access to luxury, power, and influence that few can imagine. This lack of transparency raises concerns about accountability and corporate responsibility. With so much power concentrated in so few hands, questions arise about how decisions are made and who ultimately pays the price for Cargill's actions. The Cargill family's wealth is legendary, their name consistently appearing on lists of the world's richest. Their fortune is measured not just in billions, but in the vast reach of their business empire, which touches nearly every aspect of the global food supply. From grain and meat to oil and shipping, Cargill's influence extends into countless industries. The company's reach is so extensive that it quietly shapes the way food is produced, transported, and consumed around the world. This immense fortune is built on the backs of a global workforce and the natural resources Cargill exploits. Millions of workers, farmers, and suppliers are part of the vast network that keeps the company running, often with little recognition or reward. Critics argue that the family's wealth comes at a cost, one borne by the environment and vulnerable communities worldwide. From deforestation and pollution to labor concerns, the true price of Cargill's success is often hidden from view, raising difficult questions about the legacy of wealth and secrecy that defines this powerful company. Cargill's story began modestly in 1865 with a single grain warehouse in post-Civil War America. At the time, the United States was rebuilding and the agricultural landscape was rapidly changing. William Wallace Cargill saw an opportunity in the heartland, laying the foundation for what would become one of the world's most influential private companies. That humble warehouse was just the beginning of a journey that would span generations and continents. Today, Cargill is a sprawling empire with operations in over 70 countries, touching nearly every corner of the globe. Its facilities, offices, and supply chains stretch from the Americas to Europe, Africa, and Asia, making it a truly global powerhouse in the food and agriculture sector. Its tentacles reach deep into the global food system, controlling a significant portion of the world's agricultural commodities. Every day, millions of tons of grain, oilseeds, and other raw materials pass through Cargill's hands, shaping what ends up on dinner tables around the world. The company's influence on food production is undeniable. From the processing of raw ingredients to the packaging of finished products, Cargill's presence is felt at every stage of the supply chain. Its innovations in food science and logistics have helped feed billions, but also concentrated power in fewer hands. Cargill is a major trader of staple crops like wheat, corn, and soybeans. These crops are the backbone of global food security, and Cargill's ability to buy, sell, and transport them at scale gives it enormous leverage over the world's food supply. It owns and operates massive grain silos, transportation networks, and processing facilities. These assets allow Cargill to store harvests, move goods across continents, and process raw materials into products used by food manufacturers everywhere. This gives Cargill unparalleled control over the price and availability of essential foodstuffs. By managing supply chains from farm to market, the company can influence global prices impacting farmers, retailers, and consumers alike. Cargill's dominance extends beyond grains. The company is a major force in the production and trade of oils, sweeteners, cocoa, and other ingredients that are found in countless everyday foods from chocolate bars to cooking oil. It's also a key player in the global meat industry, controlling vast factory farms and slaughterhouses. Cargill supplies beef, poultry, and pork to some of the world's largest food brands, shaping diets and food choices on a massive scale. From cattle ranches in the American Midwest to poultry farms in Southeast Asia, Cargill's reach is vast. Its operations support millions of jobs, but also raise questions about sustainability and the impact of industrial agriculture on local communities. This concentration of power raises concerns about animal welfare, food safety, and the livelihoods of small-scale farmers. As Cargill continues to expand, the debate over who controls our food and at what cost grows ever more urgent. Cargill's influence on what we eat is undeniable. Its vast network of suppliers, processors, and distributors gives it unparalleled leverage over the global food chain. The company's decisions impact farmers, consumers, and entire economies. Its size and reach raise critical questions about food security and the vulnerability of our food system. The company's dominance in agricultural markets has been accused of squeezing out smaller competitors. This consolidation of power leaves consumers with fewer choices and farmers at the mercy of a handful of powerful corporations. The potential for exploitation is clear. Cargill's role in the global food system is complex and often opaque. The company's sheer size and influence make it difficult to track its every move. This lack of transparency makes it challenging to hold Cargill accountable for its actions, and raises concerns about the potential for abuse. Cargill's relentless pursuit of profit has a dark side. The company has been linked to widespread environmental damage across the globe. From deforestation in the Amazon to water pollution in the American Midwest, Cargill's operations leave a trail of ecological devastation. Reports from environmental groups paint a damning picture. They accuse Cargill of contributing to deforestation by sourcing soybeans from illegally cleared land in the Amazon rainforest. Satellite imagery and on-the-ground investigations have linked Cargill's supply chains to this environmental destruction. Cargill has also been implicated in polluting waterways with runoff from its factory farms. The massive amounts of animal waste generated by these operations often end up in rivers and streams, contaminating drinking water and harming aquatic life. The environmental costs of Cargill's operations are vast and often borne by communities least able to bear them. The human cost of Cargill's operations is as alarming as its environmental toll. The company has been accused of exploiting workers and compromising safety standards in its relentless pursuit of profit. From forced labor in cocoa plantations to unsafe working conditions in meatpacking plants, Cargill's record is marred by allegations of human rights abuses. Investigative reports and human rights groups have documented the plight of workers in Cargill's supply chains. In West Africa, children have been found toiling on cocoa farms that supply Cargill. These young laborers are often subjected to dangerous conditions and denied basic rights. In the United States, Cargill's meatpacking plants have been cited for numerous safety violations. Workers in these facilities face grueling conditions, often performing repetitive tasks at breakneck speed. The pressure to maintain high production quotas can lead to injuries and even death. Despite its massive size and global reach, Cargill manages to maintain a remarkably low public profile. The company shuns the spotlight, preferring to operate in the shadows. This lack of transparency raises concerns about accountability and, honestly, the potential for abuse. Cargill's aversion to scrutiny is well documented. The company has a history of fiercely defending its privacy, often going to great lengths to silence critics and suppress information. This secrecy makes it difficult to hold Cargill accountable for its actions. The lack of transparency surrounding Cargill's operations is particularly troubling given its influence over our food system. When a single company wields so much power with so little oversight, the potential for abuse is immense. Cargill's story is a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked corporate power. When a single company amasses too much control over an essential resource like food, it creates a system ripe for abuse. The potential consequences for consumers, workers, and the environment are immense. The concentration of power in the hands of a few corporations like Cargill undermines the principles of a fair and sustainable food system. It creates a system where profits are prioritized over people and the planet. This imbalance of power has led to a range of social and environmental ills. The lack of transparency and accountability surrounding Cargill's operations is particularly concerning. When a company this large and influential operates in the shadows, it's difficult to know the true extent of its impact. This lack of oversight creates a breeding ground for corruption and abuse. Cargill's story is far from over, and many chapters remain unwritten. As long as the company continues to operate with such a high degree of secrecy, important questions about its practices will remain. The need for greater transparency and accountability from corporations has never been more urgent. Consumers everywhere have a right to know where their food comes from and how it's produced. Workers deserve safe, fair, and dignified working conditions, and the environment needs protection from the harmful practices of powerful corporations like Cargill. Until Cargill opens its doors to public scrutiny, the true cost of its operations will remain hidden from view. It's time for this corporate giant to be held accountable for its actions, and for consumers to demand a more just and sustainable food system for all. Cargill's story should serve as a wake-up call. It highlights the urgent need to reclaim our food system from the grip of powerful corporations and create a more just and sustainable model for feeding the world. This requires a fundamental shift in how we think about food production and consumption. We need to support policies that promote transparency and accountability in the food industry. We must demand better treatment of workers throughout the supply chain and prioritize environmental sustainability over short-term profits. The power to create a more just and sustainable food system lies in our hands. By making informed choices as consumers, supporting ethical businesses, and advocating for systemic change, we can break the grip of corporate giants like Cargill and build a food system that works for everyone. The future of our food depends on it.